Hey friends! My name is Desiree, aka Mama Friendly, and I do all sorts of videos on this channel. I do cooking videos, planner videos, hauls, Disney themed homeschool videos, a little bit of everything. So if any of these things sound like fun to you, I hope that you'll subscribe and join me on my YouTube adventure. Today's video is extra special because it is both a Disney video and a cooking video. My friend Jeanette, her channel is The Name is Jeanette. Mwah, straightforward and to the point. She's hosting a collab today where we're all doing theme park or carnival type foods. I'm going to post a link in the description box of this video to her channel along with a link to the playlist. So that way when you finished watching my video, you can see what all of my friends came up with. As you can see by my accessories, my video is of course Disney themed because any opportunity I can take to make anything Disney, I'm in. And speaking of any opportunity, I've never been to Disneyland. I've been to Disney World. I think I've literally spent at least a year of my life at Disney World actually. I've been many times. I'm local-ish. Been an annual pass holder for a very long time. Disney World is my home away from home. Disneyland, never been. So I decided to take this opportunity to spread my wings a little bit and try a recipe that I've not yet actually tried myself in person. Now, if you've been to Disneyland yourself, or if you're familiar-ish with it, you might know that there is a roller coaster, a classic roller coaster that's been around since the dawn of man called the Matterhorn. And the Matterhorn is a lot like, well, in visuals anyways, a lot like the Expedition Everest that we have at Animal Kingdom in that it is a roller coaster carved into a mountain. And apparently one of the things you can get at a gift shop near the Matterhorn roller coaster is the Matterhorn macaroon. So a macaroon, not macaron, two different things. A macaroon is a coconut-based cookie. So these Matterhorn macaroons are coconut cookies that are shaped like a mountain and then covered in a white cap of snow, aka white chocolate. Sounds good to me. Now I eat gluten and dairy free, and all the recipes, well, most of the recipes on my channel are gluten and dairy free as well. I do make some standard American diet type recipes too because that's how my family eats. But whenever I can, I try to kind of accommodate my restrictions because I like to eat too. So this recipe has been changed just a little bit, but I will let you know the accommodations I made. So if you want to make it the regular way, you can, or if you want to follow my recipe, you can do that too. All that being said, let me show you how I made Matterhorn macaroons. Alright pallies, I always like to start my cooking recipe type videos with kind of an ingredient rundown. So first of all, you're going to need 14 ounces of unsweetened shredded coconut. You need 2/3 of a cup of all-purpose flour. I'm using gluten-free, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 12 ounces of sweetened condensed milk. I'm using coconut condensed milk, which is a thing. 2 cups of white chocolate chips divided. I'm also going to use cocoa butter or cacao butter to see if I can't come up with a dairy-free alternative for the topping. First things first, we're preheating our oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And I have a pretty large bowl here. I also have a scale underneath it. Rather than use measuring cups, I'm actually going to weigh out the 14 ounces of unsweetened shredded coconut because I had 2 bags and I wanted to make sure I had the right amount in here. To that coconut, you're also going to add your 2/3 of a cup of all-purpose flour, gluten-free or otherwise, and you're going to add your 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Mix all of that together kind of like in a sifting fashion just to make sure it's evenly distributed, and then we're going to move on to the next step. Now that our dries are well mixed, I'm going to throw in our 12 ounces of coconut condensed milk. And again, we've got the scale here to make sure that it is in fact 12 ounces because I'm having to put it together from 2 different cans. Another thing that I just showed you, there's a fat cap at the top of the coconut condensed milk. Any coconut milk product you find in a can, you're going to find this fat cap. What I opted to do is to take that fat cap and instead of putting it in the recipe, I'm just going to save it for like my coffee or something. Yum, that sounds like it's going to be so good. And it so happened that between the 2 cans, I was able to get almost exactly 12 ounces. So I did get what I needed for the recipe, and now I have a nice little treat to add to my coffee for later. We're just going to stir everything up until it's all well combined, and that's it. Easy peasy. Took almost no time at all, almost no ingredients at all, and our cookie dough, as it were, is done. Our oven is ready to go, so I'm going to line our ungreased baking sheet with some parchment paper so that nothing sticks. And the recipe basically says to form about a half cup of dough into a mountain shape and place it on your baking sheet, leaving about an inch space in between them. Now, I found that they didn't spread very much, so you don't need to give them too much space. I also found that a half cup is a lot of dough, but yet somehow not enough, because you're supposed to end up with 10 cookies at the end of this, and I believe I had 8. So I guess I was a little over generous with my mountain shapes, but they turned out perfectly, so you do you. I wouldn't advise making them too small because you don't want them to bake too quickly, but I think 8 to 10 cookies out of this one batch is about what you should expect. Okay, so we're ready for baking. I'm going to put these in here, again, 350 degrees for 15 minutes. You just want the coconut to barely start to brown. Once those 15 minutes are up, go ahead, take them out of the oven, but leave them on the cookie sheet and let them cool for about 20 minutes before you even touch them, because they're going to be very soft, very crumbly, but as they cool down, everything kind of starts to form together, and eventually they will be solid enough where you can pick them up and they won't fall apart in your hands. Now that it's been 20 minutes, I'm going to take most of my white chocolate. I didn't quite have 2 cups, but I found that I didn't need it anyways. Just leaving aside just a bit for garnish at the end. You can do this in a microwave on high 30 seconds at a time and just stirring to like keep everything from burning and whatnot. I prefer to melt my chocolate on the stovetop. A double boiler would be even better, but I kind of got hasty with it. It's fine, everything turned out well. I'm also trying to melt down some cocoa butter because white chocolate has milk in it, and I'd like to try some of my Matterhorn macaroons with a snow top as well. So we're going to attempt it here. So I'm just going to melt these down, and hopefully we end up with something that's dippable. This was about the time I realized that cocoa butter becomes an oil when you melt it, not exactly something thick and gloopy and dippable like white chocolate. So, hey, it was worth a try. No regrets here. I'm just going to focus my efforts on the white chocolate then, and I guess I'll have mine plain. I did notice that it was taking a long time for this to melt. These are just regular Ghirardelli white chocolate chips. So I ended up using a little bit of creamer. If you have half and half, that works, whatever, but a little bit of creamer to kind of give it something to melt into. And once I did that, it came together much faster and much easier. If you're not new to my cooking videos, you already know that my knife skills are, well, they're not great. A, because I lack the skill, and B, because I lack the patience. The recipe says to take those extra white chocolate chips that you set aside for garnish and to chop them finely so that you can dust them on top of your white chocolate covered mountains. And yeah, I tried, not really my best, but whatever. It's fine. It's gonna taste the same anyways. By all means, if you have the patience, make the effort. Me, not so much. Now that our white chocolate is good and melty, I'm kind of just spooning some over the top. I figured I could dip it, and I'm pretty sure that's what the recipe said to do, but I worried about them falling apart because I'm a little bit of a brute, as you might have guessed by now, and I didn't want to do anything that would put them in harm's way, I guess. So I figured spooning the chocolate over was probably the least potentially harmful way to do it, and it worked out. So I mean, do you, but this worked for me, so this is how I would do it if I were going to do it again too. And voila, the finished product. Half white chocolate covered and half plain. Taste tester. Da-da-da. Yeah? Does it taste like you're in Disneyland? Have you been to Disneyland? Could you imagine eating this at Disneyland? Okay, there you go. That's the important bit.
It tastes like coquito.
Oh, there you go.
Wow. Your husband's gonna really like this.
I'm going to really like this. Wow.
It's like un poquito de eso.
That's really good. Alright pals, so there's my recipe for Matterhorn macaroons. I thought they were delicious. My family absolutely loved them. I didn't get to try it with the white chocolate, and as you saw, the cocoa butter was a little bit of a bust. I had to try. But the cookies themselves were delicious. Nobody was able to tell that it was gluten-free flour, and it's so little flour that I don't think it would make a difference texturally one way or the other, although obviously if you must have gluten-free, it will make a difference, trust me. But it was an easy accommodation to make, and like I said, everybody around here that eats a standard American diet, they were none the wiser. Overall, really enjoyed the recipe. We'll definitely be making it again, and it was nice to have a little piece of Disneyland right here in my home. If you decide to make this recipe yourself, I'd love for you to come back and let me know in the comments how it turned out for you, or even better, take a photo or video and tag me on Instagram. And now that you've seen my recipe, I hope that you'll check out that playlist link down below and get loads of theme park food inspiration. And of course, I want to thank Jeanette once again for hosting and for inviting me to participate. This video was a lot of fun to make, and I can't wait to see what everybody else did. I want to thank you all so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, I hope you'll please give it a big thumbs up. I'd also love it if you would subscribe and click that notification bell because I post at least 3 times a week and I wouldn't want you to miss a minute. Thanks so much again for watching, and see you real soon. Bye!